Good morning, family. This is Greg coming to you once again from FaithsMessenger.com. The title of today's message is Becoming a Bit Too Comfortable with Death. Becoming a bit too comfortable with death. You know, in recent years, we've had an opportunity to see broadcasts of the consequences of war almost on a continual basis. Our young kids today, they're exposed to the conflicts overseas, and they're more privy to war and battles and death like never before. And we look at images sometimes from countries, from war-torn countries, and we see dead bodies. We see, sometimes I've seen images of school kids walking right alongside soldiers on their way to school. The implications of death that those kids, that those people in foreign lands have to deal with on a daily basis can be oppressing, to the point where we thank God that we don't have to see death right before our eyes every single day and deal with the consequences of becoming desensitized to death. But I wonder sometimes if that's the case at all, if we are indeed desensitized to death. I was listening to a broadcast. Our house, the 210 freeway runs right behind our house. And I was listening to a news broadcast because I wanted to get the traffic report. I needed to go downtown that particular morning. And within a span of 30 seconds, I heard the weather, I heard the news, and I heard the sports for our local area. And the news portion of it, a motorcyclist was killed on the 210 freeway at a traffic accident which resulted in a fatality. Now, as I say, I was able to get the news, the weather, and the sports all in the span of 30 seconds. Someone was killed, presuming on their way to work because it was morning rush hour. But the thing that impacted me the most was how bad the traffic was going to be backed up because of this fatality on the freeway. And looking back on it now, that is it's something horrible about that way of thinking. Here, someone left their home that morning en route to work, and they'll never come home. They'll never return. They had no idea when they left the house, nor did his or her family have an idea that morning when that person left the house that they would never return. So death is all around us. We don't have to see dead bodies here in the U.S. like people do in other countries, but yet and still the notification of and the broadcasting of death still is all around us. And I'm wondering if you're in a situation where you hear a broadcast where someone was killed, if it actually impacts your consciousness that a person left this earth, someone who may not have known Christ is now sentenced to a Christless eternity, and that decision or indecision can never be reversed. The person you sit next to in church this Sunday, you may never see again. It's incumbent upon us to tell the world about Christ. None of us know when our last day here on earth is. And I personally am paranoid because I can't give you scripture on it, but I would imagine if there ever came a time somewhere in eternity where I had to sit across the desk from someone whom I went to school with or whom I worked with on a daily basis, someone who I was friends with, and interacted with them on an ongoing basis, yet and still they are sentenced to a Christless eternity. But yet I never said anything to them. To have a conversation with them where they were to ask me, well, Greg, you knew me. We had fun together. We went out together. You knew I wasn't saved. But yet you never said anything. Why is that? I never want to have that conversation if such a conversation should take place somewhere in eternity. So I want to encourage you today to if you haven't already, to realize that those people are dying all around us at all times. No, we don't see the dead bodies on the on the highway or on the street or in our neighborhood, but yet and still it's happening. And I want to encourage you to have the boldness to put it all on the line. Forget about embarrassment or anything that may be preventing you from spreading the gospel, and realize that those around you are dying. Those around you that may not know Christ are dying, and they need to hear, they need to know that Jesus is Lord. So I encourage you to get out, spread the gospel. I'm not saying to become a street preacher, but yield yourself to God and let Him flow through you in whatever capacity He desires to help get His message across to a dying world. So I want to leave you with that today. And I'd like to encourage you that if you're not a YouTube subscriber, to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. By doing so, you will receive notifications when new videos such as this one are posted. And I'd like to speak to any fellow Christian YouTubers out there, and I'd like to encourage you and invite you to join us in our community located at micro-ministries.com. Now, this community was created solely to help drive traffic to your Christian YouTube channel. God has given you a word, and that word needs to be seen and shared by the masses. So we offer encouragement, support, training, anything that we can possibly do to help you get traffic to your Christian YouTube channel. So once again, that address is micro-ministries.com. Now, that is a private community, so you'll need an invitation. What you'll need to do is send me an email message at FaithsMessenger@gmail.com, and I'll get that invitation right over to you. And lastly, I would like to invite those of you who have not joined us already to join us at FaithsMessenger.com. We currently have over 550 individual blog posts on the blog which address a myriad of different topics, real life, everyday topics that each and every one of us has to deal with. So once again, that address is FaithsMessenger.com. So with all that's been said today, I would like to leave you with a question. Now, this question can be applied to anything that you may be experiencing in life. And I'd like for you to ask yourself, is anything impossible with God? Have a great day, family. I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.